The EFF have a brilliant strategy, which the DA should adopt.
That's right, Byron. News is coming out that the EFF, and especially Julius Malema himself, is sort of trying to entice old members of the ANC to come into the EFF fold, namely Ace Magashule and Jacob Zuma. And a lot of people are thinking to themselves, aren't these guys like sort of mortal enemies? We remember Zuma must fall being the EFF mantra since its inception, but now somehow Julius is seen as flip-flopping for one of them to come join the EFF. But actually, my friends, this is an utterly brilliant strategy.
So we made the claim before that the DA should adopt the no enemies to the right strategy, and the EFF listened. The EFF instead adopted the no enemies to the left strategy. You may look at the people that they are courting and say, hang on, weren't you against those guys? Weren't those guys your enemy? And the EFF says, hey, there's no permanent enemies in politics. We'll take anybody that can bolster up our vote.
So the no enemy to the right strategy is very, very simple. We have a common enemy, which is the left in general, psychologically, socially, and politically. So therefore, we as right-wingers would join any other right-wing individual and party to utterly and completely destroy the left. We'll never attack anyone on the right. We all have a common goal together, which is what the DA should have been doing with the PA and various other political parties, but they don't want to do that. That's their prerogative, not ours. But Julius Malema is playing the same game, but on the left. No enemies to the left. What is Julius's big enemies? Capitalism, white monopoly capital, imperialism, for lack of a better term. All those people that he wants to recruit have exactly the same goals. They're all corrupt bastards, and they're doing this just for the grift. But that's also brings something in common amongst all of these people. So Julius is playing a very smart game by having disaffected ANC people come to the EFF, bring along their constituencies, and making the EFF the real vanguard of the masses. Smart. Very, very smart.
Yes, and so you may also say, well, what else is the EFF after? They want to loot, and loot hard. And so the people that they are courting are former looters, right? Why would they not court former looters? They want to loot. These guys have experience in looting. Hey, it's a match made in heaven. But you know what? There is actually a more serious side of this, which is these individuals joining the EFF would put a thorn in the side of the ANC. The ANC have disfranchised these individuals. The EFF are giving them a home. By bolstering up their party, they can then go back to their former masters and say, we're a party of all the former ANC people, and we can make the ANC great again. Which reminded me, Ramon, what's happening in 2024? And why might the EFF and the former ANC members rarely enjoy this strategy?
Well, it would be a national election in 2024 and the reverse takeover of the ANC by the EFF. And if the EFF has Ace Magashule, Jacob Zuma, Jimmy Manyi, who's already there, by the way, they can just do a reverse takeover of the ANC from outside of the ANC rather than staying inside the ANC and not getting anywhere in particular. So that's why the move is actually so brilliant. Will he be able to pull it off? I have sincere doubts about that, but the strategy is quite clear. No enemies to the left, take over the ANC, take over the country. Smart.
If you think about it logically, if you were the DA, you would be adopting the same strategy. No enemies to the right, which means forgiving past misdemeanors, which would mean hug Michael Beaumont, give Gator McKenzie a kiss, make up with all the people that you don't like, and make sure that they're all in your camp. So that when you need that moonshine pact, you can all sit around, dop it up, and toast the ANC getting kicked out of office. But the problem is that the parties on the right all want to apply the purity test. Problem is, nobody's really that pure in politics, mate. You limit the pool of people that you can draw to, which also means you limit the amount of people that you can obviously use for the purposes of forming your moonshine pact come 2024. Which makes the opposition parties less powerful as we get closer to a general election.
Because we have noticed that the Moonshot Pact doesn't appear in any sort of propaganda recently. It's almost like they had an idea, farted it out to the world, and then sort of let it wither away in the wind. I'm not too sure what the DA is doing. I have no clue what they are trying to build other than annoying everyone to their right. And Julius Malema is doing exactly the opposite, which is why maybe he will start winning in time to come. I have sincere doubts about that. I don't think the EFF is going to grow in any meaningful way. But if this is a long-term strategy to get the disaffected hardcore grifters, looters, and communists from the ANC, it could yield great results for the EFF in time to come. We'll wait and see, but for now, nothing is actually quite certain.
Yeah, for me, if I were to take it from an analytical point of view, I would say that the reason he is adopting this strategy is that all the by-elections around the country show the EFF are getting single-digit support. Nobody's voting for them. In fact, the party itself has run out of favor pretty much everywhere. They're trying to drum up as much support as possible, and actually with the existing leadership is very difficult. So the only real way for them to do is to take people that already have an existing base and try to piggyback on the basis of that base. Personally, I question how much sway Ace Magashule really has anymore, considering he's been out the public eye for some time. Even Jacob Zuma doesn't carry the same amount of favor as he once did. So how much support you would actually get by getting these two individuals into the EFF remains questionable. With that being said, the motivation behind it is obviously to bolster up the party, get it a few more votes, and try and make it a little bit more powerful. So that come 2024, it doesn't get the record declines that I'm predicting, which is around 6 to 8% max. What I would say is the only real thing that we can take from this is the fact that the DA should be adopting the strategy, and they aren't. The DA's purity test is holding the party back, and in holding the party back, it will hold back their chances of forming a coalition government in 2024.
You're absolutely correct. And by the EFF adopting the strategy, they're leaving the door wide open for perhaps the inevitable split of the ANC to come, which I don't think will happen. But should a split arise, then the obvious factions would be people joining the EFF and people joining whatever other faction there remains within the ANC. So overall, Julius Malema, very good strategy. Let's see how it works out. We have sincere doubts about it working out, but in terms of a game plan, it is very, very solid. But will it be able to save him from a 6% electoral outcome in 2024? If you want to know the answer to that, check out this video.